Contact Speaker Group of Doylestown, Pennsylvania. My name is Ron. I'm an alcoholic, and I'd like to welcome you all here. Lily's going to come up and chair this. A couple simple announcements beforehand. We are not allowed to smoke anywhere on church property. That's pretty much a give me at any church anymore. And we ask that you please don't cross the caution tape. They don't want us on the other side of the church. We're here as guests of this church. It's a $10 million facility, and they give a bunch of alcoholics the keys. It's pretty cool. All they ask is to treat it like your own. Anyway, enjoy tonight. Lily's going to come up, and thanks for coming.
Here. Hi, I'm Lily. I'm an alcoholic. I'd like to welcome you to the Conscious Contact Speaker Group of Alcoholics Anonymous. And this is a 1-hour speaker meeting. We meet here every Saturday evening at St. Paul's Lutheran Church. We're at 301 North Main Street, and we meet at 8:30 p.m. here in Doylestown. So the purpose of the group is to provide a consistent message of hope and recovery through God reliance and service to others through the practice and teaching of the 12 steps. We record all speakers so that others may benefit from their message of recovery. If you wish not to be recorded, just simply ask. So this is an open meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous, and we would really like to welcome everyone, especially newcomers. So is there anyone that's new to this meeting from out of town that would like to introduce him or herself with their first name? Yes.
I'm Jeff. I'm visiting an alcoholic from Manhattan.
Yay, welcome.
Hi, my name's Tracy. I'm from Doylestown.
Hello, Tracy, welcome. Yes.
Steve, I'm an alcoholic. I'm from Bayside, New York.
Oh, great. Welcome, Steve. Yes.
Hi, I'm Linda, an alcoholic, and I'm also from Manhattan.
Welcome, Linda. Nice to see you.
Ashley, alcoholic from East Rachel.
Hi, Ashley. Welcome. Over here? Yes. Okay, thank you. Welcome. Okay. So we also encourage sponsorship. So would anyone with working knowledge of the 12 steps and willing to sponsor, please raise your hand. Great, so there are a lot of sponsors, and anyone without a sponsor, please see one of these folks after the meeting. Does anyone have an announcement for the good of AA? No? Okay. So we have meeting lists and big books on easy terms. Please see me or any home group member after the meeting. If you can't afford a big book, the Conscious Contact Speaker Group will give you one at no charge. Anyone willing to make donations for the purchase of these big books and CDs, please, or if you can't afford them, we ask that donations be put in the jar all the way in the back on that bureau. And if you would like a CD of any speaker, past or present, please see Ron after the meeting. They're available free of charge, and like I said, there are past speakers and current speakers, and there's a wide variety of them, and they're all for free. And so now I've asked Linda to read the AA preamble.
Hi, my name's Linda, and I'm an alcoholic. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength, and hope with each other that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organization, or institution, does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. I have Zach to come up and read the AA 12 Steps of Recovery.
Good evening, everyone. My name's Zach. I'm an alcoholic. And these are the 12 steps of recovery. Step 1, we admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. Step 2, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Step 3, made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. Step 4, made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. Step 5, admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. 6, we're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. Step 7, humbly asked Him to remove our shortcomings. Step 8, made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. Step 9, made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. Step 10, continued to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. Step 11, sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. And step 12, having had a spiritual awakening as the results of these steps, we tried to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all our affairs.
So we do have a 7th tradition that every AA group ought to be fully self-supporting, declining outside contributions. And so the baskets will be passed. As an old friend used to say, please make it rain when it comes by. We have a lot of expenses such as coffee, cream, donuts, rent, big books, and CDs, as I mentioned before. And as Ron mentioned before also, there's no smoking on church property. If everyone could silence their cell phones now, that would be great. I'm especially excited because tonight is Ladies' Night. Yay, that's good. And we would now like to introduce our speaker. She is on loan to us from the Atlantic Group of New York City. And please welcome Ava L.
Hi everybody, I'm Ava and I'm an alcoholic. I want to thank the group for inviting me to speak. It's an honor and privilege to be in a meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous. And today qualifies as an extra length since it was, 2.5 hour drive down, but my pleasure. I love a good AA outing. I've got 2 of my favorite peeps with me in the car. And we had a great time and a great meal, by the way, down the road. And now I'm here with all of you, and I really am very excited about it. So thanks for having me, and thanks for inviting me. My sobriety date is March the 1st, 1988. It's the most important day of my life. It's the day that my life really began. It's even more, I'm getting much more excited about that than my belly button birthday, because I was reborn, let's say, if you really want to get technical. My home group is the Atlantic Group. I have a sponsor. Her name is Cookie. She's a great lady. She lives in Minnesota. I met her on a Sober Club Med vacation. I couldn't wait to get to Sober Club Med. I had about 8 or 9 years of sobriety before I could go on one of those trips because I didn't have any money. And I figured, I'm going to meet the love of my life, and like ride off into the sunset. And I did meet the love of my life. She turned out to be a sponsor. But more about that later. Anyway, she's a great lady, and I respect her, and I respect her love for Alcoholics Anonymous and the way she applies the principles and the tools of AA in her life on a day-to-day basis and navigates life on life's terms. And that's why I want what she has, and that's why she's, in my mind, a winner. That's what I'm attracted to. She's had some hard knocks, and the grace and dignity that she walks through her life with, based on all of those things, using the tools that we learn here, is remarkable, and that's what I want in my life. And she shows me how to do that. And I state all these things because that's my AA Bill of Rights. That's like who I am, Alcoholics Anonymous, and the program, and my participation in AA and in a home group, and all of those things are the structure and the backbone of my life today. I was, a destroyed human being, a shell of a human being by the time I came to AA. And God only knows what would have happened to me had I not found myself here. I didn't know that I was an alcoholic. I was like, what happened? I mean, I drank like a pig, and I took every chemical available to mankind, depending on what was, offered to me. But I really was confused about how did I get here and what happened. So I could have used a drink in the 2nd grade. I had to wait for junior high to really get to something. when I roll back the clock, when I had the thinking and the personality traits, were in me early. Like when I came to Alcoholics Anonymous, I didn't really understand anything about alcoholism or how I got here or what these people were talking about. They said it was a family disease. Well, I'm the only alcoholic in my family. So I'm just lucky, I guess. And I feel very lucky to be in Alcoholics Anonymous, by the way. So, I drank myself here, but they said alcohol is but a symptom. And I didn't really understand what they meant, but I was the kind of person that I'd rather die than be embarrassed, so I wouldn't ask any stupid questions, so I would just keep my mouth shut, which is ego, by the way, but I didn't know what that was because I didn't have any language for anything. I had no awareness. I'm always in awe of like new people that are in touch with their feelings or actually have vocabulary to describe what's going on with them, because I had like no idea what was going on with me. If you said, what do you like, chocolate or vanilla? I would be like, I don't know, what do you think I should like? And I would wait for you to give me the clue so that I would know what I'm supposed to do, so this way you would approve of me or like me. So, that's like extremely self-centered. I didn't even know that was self-centered, and I didn't even know that I was approval-seeking or that I needed your approval in order to be okay. So if you followed any of this, that's what my alcoholism is like in my head before I even pick up a drink. And so I need a drink to put that fire out, because that's what's going on all the time. Like this circular thinking, around and around in circles. I didn't know it was fear-based, I didn't know it was fear-driven, I didn't understand what that was. I didn't have any awareness. I was like sleepwalking through my life, my whole life, until I came to Alcoholics Anonymous. Like not a clue. Rebel without a clue, okay? So, always felt like 10 pounds of potatoes in a 5-pound bag. It was very crowded in here. I was very nervous. I had like 8-year-olds and 10-year-olds don't really have like anxiety disorder. I did. I was very obsessed. I had obsessive thinking. I didn't know what that was, but my thinking would be like repetitive and circular and would go around and around and around. I ran for class president in the 5th grade. I don't think I slept for a month until the election. Like, what do they think of me? What do they... Now, I had no language on this. All of this understanding is all in retrospect. Even when it was going on. When I look back, I understood what was going on, but not while anything was going on. So when I picked up a drink, it was very innocent. I guess I should say, I've been boy crazy since kindergarten. It's a big part of my story, so I'm going to do whatever I need to do in order for you to approve of me, like looking for love in all the wrong places. So it was all very innocent. The boys were playing music in the garage band, okay? They were awful, but of course, we were like swooning at them. And we were drinking, our first drink was Thunderbird, okay? I don't think it's ever seen a grape. And, whatever the boys said to, whatever we needed to do. So that's really what it was. I hated it, but I couldn't wait to do it again. Like, I drank things that I didn't like. I took drugs that I didn't like, but I had to be like stoned all the time. Basically, I was inebriated from the early days of picking up whatever it was. I was maybe 14, 15, until the doors of detox at the age of 31. I don't think I breathed a sober breath, depending on the crowd, the club, the circumstance. It would dictate, what we were taking, what we were drinking, where we were going. That's like the name of it. The drink really, and I didn't know it until I was sober, but the the alcoholism dictated where I went, what I did, and who I hung out with. Because I went where what we called partying, which was really, suicide on the installment plan, but, and some of the years were fun. I chased it, I had a lot of fun. On the one hand, I had a lot of fun at a lot of points in time, but in retrospect, when I really look back, I was in terrible psychic pain. I would come home and I would cry myself to sleep. I would always feel very lonely, very disconnected, very separate, very lonely, and very isolated. I believe, as I understand it today, that that's like the core of my alcoholism, is this extreme self-centered fear, and how it presents in my life is that's how I feel. Separate, alone, lonely, empty, with that aching, throbbing kind of like black hole feeling in the pit of my solar plexus. And that's like the core of alcoholism, extreme self-centered fear. There's something wrong with me, you're gonna get close to me, you're gonna figure it out, you're gonna throw me away. I have to do whatever I can to make sure that, that's not revealed so that I can keep you, as a friend or whatever. So I'm dancing as fast as I can. That's the other, I'm a product of the disco era. I was a hippie for about a week. I did not like the shoes, okay? So at 16, big platform shoes were like all the rage, and that was like, forget it. I mean, my mother and I had like War of the Worlds, and of course I won because I had to have these, they were goody two shoes was the name of the shoe. Big wood bottom platform with red two-knot upper. Of course I know the shoe with a quarter strap. Anyway, and so we called, in my high school, we were called superstars, okay? And I was I'm typical alcoholic, chameleon personality type. I'm gonna be whoever I think I need to be so that I can get you to like me or approve of me. And I would work my way around we used to hang out in the different exits at school, and I would work my way around to the different exits and hang out with the different groups of people, and I would be whoever it was that I needed to be with that group. So we had the stoners and the hitters and the hippies, and there was either a drug or a drink or a combination thereof in every exit, okay? And we had these custodians they were older men, like 22, that was their first job, we were like all 15 and stuff. And they would always get us things. Anyway, now that's kind of high school. I was a really smart student. I am not bragging because I did absolutely nothing with my gift. And I was in college at 16, and I majored in the student union building, and lawn, and African basket weaving, and South American agriculture, okay? And that was, really, that was like my, and it was progressive from there. My, another piece of the story that has a big impact in my life is my best friend in high school was gay. And we would practice dancing and getting ready for the club after school. And he took me to my first gay club, which was always, more. The gay boys have it more. Whatever we're doing, trust me, they got more, okay? And I'm a more girl. Whatever we have, I need more of it. There's never enough of anything. Not enough shoes, there's not enough anything, there's not enough attention, there's not enough, no, whatever it is, I gotta go where there's more. So there was more with the boys at the gay club, and that was where we really learned how to dance and how to party. And that's really the whole 70s was all about the clubs in New York. And I had, like I said, I had a lot of fun on the one hand, but looking back, when I really get in touch with my reality and the truth of my life, I could really see how I was in tremendous psychic pain. And I would come home and I was popular. I'm not the one that, no matter how popular I was, people wanted to hang out with me, people wanted to dance with me, people wanted to be my friend, they wanted to go out with me, but nothing would make a dent, really. And no matter what that was, it could not seep in. I have like a broken love receptor, I really see it in terms of like my mother. I have this, I have these great parents. Of course, my whole critique of my family of origin has changed tremendously. My parents have gotten much better in my sobriety. But, great people. I mean, you could set the world clock on them. That's how steady they are and everything else. And my mother would, I'm just adored by them. And my mother would look at me with this look of love, and I would be like, step back, step back. I can't take it in. So we have a problem, okay? Anyway, I didn't know any of these things about myself, and it really helps me to navigate in my sobriety when I learn these things about Ava. I met myself in Alcoholics Anonymous, and that's the backdrop of my drinking. I drank my way right off the planet. I danced, I went here, I went there, I danced I went to Studio 54. It was all very glamorous. That and, And it led me to, it was glamorous, and I can tell you what the bathrooms look like, okay? Because I was, either getting high or throwing up in the bathroom stall. Like, that's what I remember of Studio 54 is the bathroom. Actually, I had a fabulous bathroom, but hello. Danced my way right off the planet with the boys, and there was not a lot of glamour left towards the end of my drinking. I'm sober way longer than I drank at this point in time. It's really when you do the AA math, is how long are you sober, how old were you when you got sober, are you sober longer than you drank? I mean, I can't wait to be living sober as long as I was living stoned, but that'll take me a couple more years to get there because I'm only 61. So anyway, I digress. I was where I had a lot of potential in business. I had smarts and bright and personality. People liked me, and I had a lot of, I applied myself. I was a great salesperson, this, that, and the other thing. The drinking was so progressive. I couldn't, it would gobble up bigger pieces of my life. I lost the ability to show up for work on time. I couldn't get out of my own house. I couldn't even get out of the house to get to the club because I would be like, I couldn't put the drink down long enough to get ready. I couldn't get out of my own way. I couldn't sleep at night. My whole body clock was screwed up. I couldn't fall asleep. I couldn't get up. I couldn't work. I had to leave my job. I lost my job. I left my apartment. No, I lost the apartment. I lost the job. I was living at home with my parents. I'm lucky I had parents that took me. Of course, I had an attitude about it, which is, I'm pissed off that you're letting me live in your house and I don't have an apartment or a job, okay? So that's how, that's like how crazy is that? No gratitude, just totally nuts, and just running around in the clubs, all night long. And my girlfriends, who are my regular, normal girlfriends from Long Island with the hair and the nails, we're like a scene from Saturday Night Fever. Like, that's who we are. We went to the clubs and all that. We are like, if you see any of the movies, that's who we are. These great girls, they were worried about me, and they're the ones that intervened on my behalf. And they staged an intervention, and they did their homework, and they got me information, and they had me over for dinner, and blah, blah, blah. And that's what happened. After dinner, they said, call this phone number and ask for help. So I got on the phone with the lady, and all I had was my bravado, that I'm an alcoholic, I can drink and party for days on end, and this is my story. And she could hear the BS through the, how we can cut right through with each other, we know each other so well. And she said, listen, people like you with a history like yours don't just go to a meeting. I had given her a meeting. I said, okay, I'll go to a meeting, hair flip, I'll go to a meeting. She said, no, you don't get it. People like you with a history like yours don't go to a meeting and problem is solved. I had no idea what I was up against, no idea. And I said, okay, I'll go to treatment, and I'll go to rehab. My friends wanted me to go to rehab. They thought it was good. And through a series of events, I wound up in a detox/rehab for 14 days. And the members of Alcoholics Anonymous and many other programs came in and brought us meetings every night. It was the highlight of our day. And basically what I heard was, we have a program of action that works for people like us. We've tried every which way to get sober. If you would like to get sober, we know what to do. Come to our meetings and we will show you what to do. Now, the fact that I heard that is remarkable. The fact that I heard what that woman said and that I got a snapshot of who I really was at a moment of clarity that, oh my God, I had a problem. I knew something was wrong, but I didn't really understand what was wrong with me. That's a big deal. And I became willing to go to treatment, and then I became willing to I saw something in the people that brought us meetings, and I wanted what they had. They brought me hope. Sometimes I think maybe I came in on the second step because I saw when people would describe their stories and they would explain what they used to be like and what happened, and they explain what they were like now, and I saw obviously something was happening in their lives because they were going to these meetings. That was really a power, said power greater than yourself. It was a demonstration of something happening in their lives. To me, that is power greater than yourself. That was the beginning of my came to believe. I knew something was wrong with me, and I knew, you know what? I think these people might be onto something. Okay, because I hadn't been sober since I don't even know how long, and I was just a destroyed person, and I had nothing happening in my life. And I knew something is desperately wrong, and my life is clearly unmanageable. And I saw something in the people. I said, I'm going to do what they do. It also helped that Craig, nice Jewish gay boy from Queens, was in rehab with me. And on day one, as I sashayed into the day room, here comes Craig, like, where'd you get the T-shirt? And that was it. And he had been in the detox for 3 weeks, so he knew everything that we needed to know about sobriety. And he did, by the way. He knew that we were going to go to meetings, get sponsors, get involved, and do the program. And he said, I'm going to pick you up when you get out. He got out a week or two before me. I'm going to come and get you, and we're going to go to meetings. And he said, and that's what we did. We ran to meetings like we were going to club openings. Meditation meeting in Queens, off we would go, me and Craig. We would be running around like it was just unbelievable. I couldn't show up for the opening of an envelope, yet I was running around going to, all these meetings, and that's what we did. I learned everything I needed to know about the basics of recovery. I learned early in. I just had to the trick is to continue to apply them over and over, and that's the trick. And that the principle is, I just need to bring the girl that I am on any given day and apply that girl as best as I can to what I find in Alcoholics Anonymous and keep it up. That's like perseverance is the principle of the 10th step. We just have to keep it up. And so that's been my experience. That was 1988. I've been sober ever since. I came out. Of course, I wanted Joan of Arc to be my sponsor. She was busy. She was tied to a stake somewhere. I met this adorable young girl, Valerie. She was my first sponsor. Val had gotten clean when she was 15. And now she was 18, and that's who I identified with. Since I had Arrested Development, since I had started drinking, and I have an affinity for young people in Alcoholics Anonymous because I really identify. Because the truth is that I was alcoholic from a very young age, only I really didn't know and I couldn't see it. I didn't understand that I had alcoholism, and I learned and I met myself in Alcoholics Anonymous because I identified with people when they shared. And that's how I had that aha moment that I really am an alcoholic of this type. And if the full implication of alcoholism, it took a little time for me to really understand the grave nature of alcoholism and how, seeped in it I was. I thought I just had a touch of alcoholism. I wasn't as bad as all of you, okay? As it turns out, truth be told, I have a really bad case, okay? It's just since I've been sober for a while, it doesn't present itself like it did in earlier sobriety or in earlier, in earlier periods of growth. It's very cunning, it's progressive, it's primary, and alcoholism speaks sobriety and speaks AA language. So it's very cunning, baffling, and insidious. So it speaks to me in my own language, in my own voice, in my own head, using the program, So I have to really, I do this thing, and I don't take it lightly. Anyway, a little bit about the joy of the journey and my sober journey in Alcoholics Anonymous. And that's what I've been doing is I've had a sponsor. I had Valerie for a number of years. I did my first set of steps with her, the best that I could, which was hieroglyphics, basically. In my early sobriety, I read, there was this great book, Postcards from the Edge. It was a Carrie Fisher book. I couldn't read the literature because I was too brain damaged to really understand any of the literature. I would read a page and I couldn't even tell you what I read. So I read Carrie Fisher's book, which was her story of overdosing and getting her stomach pumped. I identified with that and all of her crazy and wanting to date the doctor, like I said. I've been boy crazy since kindergarten. So I identified with that, and that's really like the whole thing of the beauty of Alcoholics Anonymous is that identification with each other that we have when we tell each other our truth and our crazy thinking. I mean, that's really the ticket. it was a couple of years into, I got involved in my group. I did everything. I've done everything. I do everything. I continue to do everything. I got involved in my group. My Valerie drank again, broke my heart, left the program. Took her 10 years to get back here. Thank God she got back. We have a happy ending over there. But that was like, I love this girl. Love this girl. She saved my life. I identified with her. I knew who I was. When she went out, I wanted to say, no, we are like people who have lost their legs. And I saw myself in Val. And I knew that I had this at her age. And I was able to concede to my innermost self that I am a real alcoholic, that I really have this. Because I saw me in everyone else. I'm no different than anyone else in Alcoholics Anonymous. I've learned as much, I learned from every people's experience in AA. I don't have to repeat everything that I hear people do. I'm no different than anyone else. Not a judgment. I am no different. And I will do any of the things that anybody else does. And I can learn a lesson from when you have the generosity to share what you do. And stop going to meetings, get not so crazy, go date your boss, or, get fired, I have plenty of potential to do every single thing that I hear, not, oh, I would never do that. When you utter those words, oh, I would never do that, probably next week you'll be doing that, because that's how it rolls. So I know who I am. I'm the same as all of you, and I've learned from everybody in these rooms, and I'm really grateful for the generosity of the people who come and tell us their dark truths and the quote-unquote mistakes. There are no mistakes. The only mistake we could possibly make is not coming back to Alcoholics Anonymous. That is the only mistake we can make, is not coming back here. If you're an alcoholic of my type, these steps in this program is the only hope that I have. And it's given me an unbelievable life, a life beyond my wildest dreams. We had many great journeys. I see Barbara. We were in a sober, years 5 to 10, a group of us went to the Hamptons in these sober houses, okay? And it was like, we all got a do-over on our young adulthood. Since none of us, we were all 3 sheets to the wind for all of our young adulthood, we got a do-over. We got to learn how to be friends, how to navigate, all of that stuff. I remember my girlfriends were next door to me, and we called that house Girl World. It was like 5 girls in that house. My house was co-ed, and they had left to go to town to get coffee for breakfast, and they didn't wait for me. And I remember I walked over there, and I go, and they're not there, and they didn't wait for me, and suddenly I like plummeted into despair. And I was like, uh-oh, what's happening? We're having a feeling. Let's call the National Guard. What's going on? But what happened was I had done the steps as best as I could a couple times. And I said, wait a minute, you need to take your own inventory. What's going on over here? It's a spiritual axiom the literature proposes that whenever I'm disturbed, there's something wrong with me. What's happening? And what I realized was I felt abandoned by my friends, and I took it to mean that, oh, they don't love me, I'm less than, I'm disposable. That's my inventory of my self-centered fears of what I think about me, not what they think about me. That's my inventory, not theirs. And what happened is they didn't want to wake me up. Duh. But if I listen to my head and I don't go to God for help with this stuff, I'm going to make a decision based on the alcoholism, the self-centered fear, and the lie in my head, and I'm probably going to, never talk to them again, right? Leave town without a forwarding address if I allow my stinking thinking to dictate my actions. And that's where the steps come in, is they put a pause button in between my feelings, my resentments, my self-centered fears, and my actions. There's a big pause button in there, like it talks about in the book. So at some point during the course of sobriety, we were all, doing our thing, and Joe and Charlie came to town, and they brought us a big book study, and that was really like the first of the, my sponsor and I did the steps in the book. I had a new sponsor by then, and basically, she said, go read the chapter, do the assignment. It was like, big book light. And then Joe and Charlie came, which is fine, because you know what, you just read the literature, do the best that you can, do it over and over again, help someone else read the book. That's really how I came alive in sobriety, is I read the book to somebody else. But Joe and Charlie came, they taught us about the history of AA, they taught us about the tools in a little more structured way, and we were all able to, myself, my sponsees, my friends, we were all able to like reapproach the steps yet again on another level and take another look at our alcoholism and come to really see what it looked like. What did it look like in years 5 to 10? What does it look like today? Where's my alcoholism today? I have alcoholism, not alcoholism. It's as strong in me today as it was when I was drinking, if not stronger. When they talked about that, when we were new, they were like, oh, they're trying to scare us about this, like trying to ruin our, it's you're gonna pick up past where you left off. You know what? They're right, because the thinking when the wind blows, and I'll get into, the expression is get into self, I'll get triggered either by a resentment or some situation will happen. It'll kick off my fears, my self-centered fears, and I go dark, which happens not as often, but it happens. And I have tools so I don't have to get stuck down there. It gets dark sober. So how do we, the magnificent thing about Alcoholics Anonymous is even when that happens, I don't have to pick up a drink as a solution to the black night of the soul. How lovely is that? I have tools, and I have a grace and a power and a presence, okay, that I have reached. It's an experience. It's like trying to explain pistachio ice cream. You don't know what pistachio ice cream is unless you eat the pistachio ice cream. So trying to explain what a spiritual experience is a difficult thing. Either you can identify with the experience or you haven't had it yet. How are you going to identify with it? So I hope it looks and seems like an attractive thing to want to have if it hasn't happened. That's why I'm going to share it. That I have access to another part of myself that I couldn't get to ever before. And at times sober, I have access to even more of myself that I recognize I didn't have that kind of access not that long ago. That happened to me this week, where I had a totally, yet again, different experience of the same life situation in a much lighter way, with more power than I had ever had before. And I find that very exciting. I find that really exciting to have those kind of spiritual milestones where that level of life experience has changed, that shift of perception, and I find that's really exciting. That's the kind of stuff that really, really excites me. I went on vacation. I was in this fabulous, I was in Mykonos. It was like fabulous. We were in these beach clubs with these lawn chairs. I mean, there's like everything like over the top, okay? It was lovely, okay? And then this one fellow who was a friend of a friend bottoms out on and winds up with us. It was the highlight of the trip. The guy like totally got trashed and got arrested. It was the highlight of the trip. So for me, that, we 12-stepped him. I mean, we one by one, our little crowd, like we bellied up to the guy and we told him about our stories and we said, listen, and the guy, here's the best part. The guy lived in London. He was only in Mykonos one night, got trashed, got arrested, couldn't wait to get out of there, can't wait to get on a plane to go home. Where's he going? London. Where am I going? London. What flight is he on? My flight. What do you think? We think we were there to go to the beach club? I don't think so. We were there to meet this guy and take him to a meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous. That's why we were there. And sure enough, we went to London. The guy was on the flight with us and we went to meetings with him that week, in between shopping at Harrods. Let us not, okay? Let's say first things first, okay? And let's hope the best for this guy. Matthew, throw him in your prayers tonight. He needs to go to meetings. I hope he goes on his own. But that's, Mykonos window dressing. That was like the main thing. And that's because that's what really makes my heart pump and really get going. Those are the things that are, I was checking the clock, I don't want to bore you guys to death. So what else do I got to tell? My family life, my parents, that mother who I was like, talk to the hand, great parents. I've grown to really, they're lucky me, I'm 61 and I still have both parents. Daddy's 90 and a half and my mother is 83. They still live on their own and they're still independent, so to speak. I'm their main squeeze caregiver. And stuff like that, but we have a really nice rapport. We get along very well. When I was newly sober, the best tool that I learned was to call my mother before she could call me. See, if she would call me, it would piss me off, and I would get irritated, and I would talk nasty when I answered the phone. So the trick was, if I initiated the call, I would have love and tolerance for her. So it's one of my best newcomer tools. Call your mother. Don't wait for her to call you. It's a good one. Make your bed, cap the toothpaste. Anyway, that's about it from me for tonight. Just keep coming back and don't leave before the miracle happens. And it happens when you just read someone else's literature and take them through the steps. I couldn't really understand. I mean, I made my amends. I had great amends stories and all of that. But it was in the effort to explain the steps to somebody else over and over again that it really lit me up inside, because that's where I got the rest of my pieces. I could stare at my belly button with take my inventory until the cows come home, and it can become a self-centered experience. It's in my effort to help you and look outside of you in the purpose of identification with you and love and all of that, that what happened is I would identify with you and I would get rid of the missing pieces that I needed to get about Ava. And then with that I can go to God and ask God, you know what? You show me what you need from me and I'm willing to do the rest. So thanks for my life.
Best speaker ever when they give us a night out early, right? Let's give it a second hand for Ava. Thank you. Don't forget, we got the meeting after the meeting. We got a big cleanup here. It happens every single Saturday. If you'd like to get involved, we have plenty of positions if you're interested in that. There's coffee makers, there's cleanups, there's setups, and all that great stuff. See us after the meeting. We got CDs. We got thousands of CDs of some great speakers that have passed through these rooms, and we like to share them with you. We take the time to record them because we feel how important their messages. We bring them in. They travel here at their own expense and time, and that's a pretty powerful message just in itself. What else can I touch on? Our sister group is a big book study. We meet at Thursday, 7:30 at Salem UCC Church, 186 East Court Street. It's right up the street. It's like about 500 yards from here. What we do is we read the big book, we break it down, we read a sentence, a paragraph at a time, we talk about it, we discuss it in the group, and we try to unlock the secrets of that big book. And it's amazing how when you get together with a group of people that are about recovery, how God enters the room, and recovery is contagious, and that's what we try to promote there. So we invite you also to come over there. Next week we have an epic speaker from New York, John S. Do not miss that. At Beg, Borrow, and Steal to be here if you're here. We have a nice way of closing if you care to join us. Thanks for coming.